Somewhere near your home, there is a corner like this one. One busy main street crosses another that is not so busy. As you come up to a busy street or road, you see a sign that says, "Stop," a reminder of the law which says you must pause to look out for the other fellow. You know that this is one of the safety rules. You always stop at this corner. Not very far on down the street, there is another corner where you usually stop. No, there isn't a sign here, but there is a playground where the rest of the gang is expecting you. You stop because you've made it a habit to do so. On your way home, you stop at another corner, not because it's the law or a habit, but as an act of courtesy, because you are thoughtful of other people. And that last stop you made, like all acts of courtesy, is pretty important. It's important to you and important to the person to whom the courtesy is shown. Obeying rules and laws is good citizenship, and following accepted customs is good sense. But both of them are topped off by that little bit extra, an act of courtesy. You can pick anyone, just anyone, out of a crowd, and in a few minutes see just how important those little extras, the acts of courtesy, are. Take the boy in the center, for instance. His name is Robert. What do you think of him? You don't know? Of course not, because you can't tell by looking at someone what kind of person he is. But watch Robert a little longer. He is thirsty, so thirsty that he doesn't notice that others are waiting in line at the fountain. He isn't trying to make anyone mad. He's just trying to get a drink. What's wrong with that? Robert travels to and from school on the bus. He likes to sit in a certain seat. If he doesn't get there first, someone else may take his seat. He isn't trying to be rough. He's just looking out for himself. After a good hike, everyone is eager to get on with the picnic. Robert thinks they should eat over here by the stream, but the others think this is a better spot. Robert tells them they're all wrong. He says he isn't trying to boss them. He's just trying to get a good place to eat. Well, that's Robert. What do you think of him now? If you formed an opinion of him from the way he acts, just remember that people form opinions of you from the way you act. Taking turns, whether it's at work or play, is fair. It gives everybody an equal chance. It means that you're courteous, that you think of others, that you're a good sport. There are lots of times at school and at home when people have different ideas about things. Sometimes it's about who should make a report, or who is the greatest baseball player that ever lived. Or it could be that you and your parents have different ideas about your allowance. In Robert's case, the argument was about a place for a picnic. Whenever people look at things differently, there is usually some reason on both sides. There is one thing, though, about which there can be no argument. Listen to the other fellow's side. If you tell someone, "You're crazy," he isn't going to like it, or you either. But if you say, "You may be right, but this is how I see it," then he feels that you are a reasonable person, trying to get a good answer to your differences. This is Polly. Polly is a happy, good-hearted girl who has lots of interesting things to talk about. In class, Polly doesn't hesitate to interrupt the teacher or another student when something comes to her mind. Even at home, she is so eager to tell Dad what happened on the way to school this morning that Dad, who is very much interested in the news right now, can hardly make head or tail of what he's reading. Or Polly is so excited about the preparation for Dad's birthday dinner that she distracts her mother so that she can't concentrate on the recipe for the cake. When her brother Tom is talking on the telephone, Polly chatters merrily on, until Tom can hardly carry on his telephone conversation. Polly only wants to be friendly, but the truth is, she is anything but that. Polly, oh, Polly, can you listen for just one moment? What you have to say may be interesting to others, but only at the right time and in the right place. What you do not say may also be an act of courtesy. Jim enjoys telling his friends about the fishing trip he and his dad took last summer. His friends enjoy hearing about it too, except Freddie. Freddie's so eager to tell about the trip he took that he's not much interested in Jim's story. It takes real thoughtfulness of others, real courtesy, to keep from telling what you want to tell while another person is talking or reading or trying to think. But when Freddie stops trying to interrupt and starts listening, he finds he's interested in Jim's story too. When Jim is finished, Fred gets his chance. Fred's courtesy makes his friends think well of him and gives him reason to think well of himself. In fact, you are a better person if you remember to do the little acts of courtesy, if you let the other person go first, if you smile or nod good morning, if you give the other person his turn, if you give others a chance to talk or read or think without interruption, if you show the good sportsmanship that you feel. If Polly starts being more courteous, the word will get around. She will get a reputation for being the kind of person everyone wants to be. If you had asked Robert if it was wrong to push people around, he would have said, of course. But when he thoughtlessly did it himself, he didn't even realize what he was doing. And Polly surely knew that it is bad manners to interrupt or to distract others. What both Polly and Robert need is to get into the habit of being courteous. When Robert went back to the end of the line at the water fountain, he made a start. When it gets so he takes his turn every single time without thinking about it, then it's a habit. And habits of courtesy pay off. Polly isn't going to be really thoughtful of others until she gets more satisfaction from being courteous than she does from distracting others. But she will get that satisfaction if she gives herself a chance. Yes, if you want to be a courteous person and want others to be courteous to you, practice doing the things that make for courtesy until they become your habits. Think of the other fellow's feelings. Think of the other fellow's rights. Think of what the other fellow will think of you. If you want to get along well with others and want them to get along well with you, be courteous.